What if I told you that one bite of fruit cursed all of humanity forever? You see, there was a time when death didn't exist, a time when the earth was a perfect paradise where humans were designed to live forever. But something went terribly wrong, and the consequences? We're all living them right now. Let me take you back to the very beginning. In the beginning, the earth was completely uninhabitable. Picture this: nothing but a vast, dark ocean covering the entire planet. No light, no land, no life, just water stretching endlessly in every direction. But God had a plan. He wanted people to live on earth, so he began the most incredible transformation project in history. First, the earth needed light. God made the sun's light shine on the earth, creating day and night. Then he caused dry land to rise up from beneath the ocean waters. But even then, the land was completely barren, just empty, lifeless dirt. So God got to work beautifying his creation. He covered the land with lush green grass, planted bushes and trees of every kind, filling the earth with vegetation that was both beautiful and delicious. Then came the luminaries, the sun, moon, and stars, to mark time, seasons, days, and years. Next, God filled the waters with fishes of all kinds and the skies with birds. He created animals of every size and kind: dogs, cats, horses, elephants, lions, everything from the tiniest insects to the largest beasts, each according to their kind. Finally, God created one special place that was absolutely perfect in every way: the Garden of Eden. Imagine the most beautiful place you've ever seen, then multiply it by infinity. That was Eden, but something was still missing. God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every living thing that moves on the earth." And so God formed the first man from the dust of the ground, breathed life into his nostrils, and the man became a living soul. His name was Adam, the first human to ever exist. God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden and gave him a fascinating job: to name all the animals. Can you imagine? Adam probably spent days, maybe weeks, observing each creature, studying their behaviors, choosing the perfect name for each one. But as Adam watched the animals, he noticed something troubling. Every animal had a mate, male and female, moving together in pairs. But Adam, he was completely alone. God saw this and said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. While he slept, God took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh. From that rib, God fashioned a woman and brought her to Adam. When Adam woke up and saw her, he was overjoyed. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh," he exclaimed. Her name was Eve, the first woman to ever exist. Picture their happiness. Two perfect humans living in a perfect garden, designed to live forever, with the entire earth as their future home. God wanted them to fill the earth and make the whole world as beautiful as Eden. No sickness, no pain, no death, just eternal happiness. But their paradise came with one rule. God commanded Adam, "From every tree of the garden you may eat freely, but the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, you must not eat from it. For in the day you eat from it, you will certainly die." One simple rule: just don't eat from that one tree. That's it. But then everything changed. One day when Eve was alone in the garden, something shocking happened. A snake spoke to her. Now think about that. When God created snakes, he didn't give them the ability to speak. So someone else was making the snake talk. But who? It wasn't Adam. It had to be one of the spirit persons God had created long before the earth, an angel. But not just any angel. This was an angel who had become consumed with pride and rebellion. He wanted to be worshipped like God. He wanted humans to obey him instead of obeying their creator. And he was about to orchestrate the greatest deception in human history. This rebellious angel made the snake say to Eve, "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" Eve replied, "We may eat from the trees, but God said not to eat from the tree in the middle of the garden, or we will die." And here comes the lie that changed everything. The snake said, "You will not surely die. God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve looked at the fruit. It looked delicious. It was beautiful. And the promise of becoming like God was too tempting. She reached out, picked the fruit, and took a bite. Then she gave some to Adam, and he ate too. In that moment, everything changed. Their eyes were opened, and they realized they were naked. Shame flooded through them for the first time ever. They quickly sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. Then they heard it, the sound they used to love, the voice of God walking in the garden during the breezy part of the day. But instead of running to greet him with joy, Adam and Eve hid among the trees in terror. "Where are you?" God called out. Adam answered from his hiding place, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat from?" And here's where things get even worse. Instead of taking responsibility, Adam blamed Eve. "The woman you gave me, she gave me fruit from the tree, and I ate." God turned to Eve. "What have you done?" Eve blamed the serpent. "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." The blame game wouldn't save them. The consequences were about to be devastating. God pronounced judgment. To the serpent, or rather to the rebellious angel using it, he declared eternal enmity. To Eve, he pronounced pain in childbirth. To Adam, he cursed the very ground itself. No longer would food come easily. Now thorns and thistles would grow. Life would be hard, filled with sweat and toil. And then came the most devastating sentence of all. "For dust you are, and to dust you will return." Death had entered the world, but God had to do something else. He said, "The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever." So God expelled them from the Garden of Eden. He posted cherubs with a flaming sword that turned in every direction to guard the way back to the tree of life. Paradise was lost, forever. Outside the garden, Adam and Eve's troubles multiplied. They had to work hard just to survive. Instead of abundant fruit trees, thorns and thistles surrounded them. They began to age. Their bodies started breaking down, and eventually, just as God had warned, they died. But here's the truly heartbreaking part. Every child born to Adam and Eve inherited their fallen condition. Cain, Abel, and all their children after them were born outside the garden, which meant they too would grow old, get sick, and die. This is why you grow old. This is why you get sick. This is why everyone you love will eventually die. We're all descendants of Adam and Eve, inheriting the consequences of that one fatal choice. If only they had obeyed, if only they had trusted God, life would have been eternally happy for them and all their children. No one would have ever grown old, gotten sick, or died. The entire earth would have become a paradise like Eden. One bite, one act of disobedience, and all of humanity fell. Adam and Eve went on to have many sons and daughters. Their first son was named Cain, and their second son was Abel. But the story doesn't end there. In fact, it's about to get even darker, because what happened next would be the world's first murder. If you've watched this far, hit that like button and subscribe, because in the next video, we're diving into the shocking story of how Cain murdered his brother Abel and why God rejected his offering. You won't want to miss it.